Greetings, greetings, and salutations. It's another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo. All is truly and indeed a blessing. Come on in. Welcome, beloved Tasha. Greetings, greetings, JP Tarot. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Shamafia. I love you all's participation and support and consistency. I'm waiting on my co-hosts. They should be here momentarily. We have a very powerful topic today. What is IJ? And let's talk about witches. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. All is a blessing. Greetings, greetings and salutations. Peace and love, joy and prosperity. Come on in. 845-277-9143. 845-277-9143 is my blog talk radio phone line. You can also join us now live on screen with your webcam and your mic by following the link scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Greetings, Nina Love. Greetings, beloved. All is a blessing. Yes, come on in. Some rainy weather both in Nigeria and in New Orleans. So let's pray we don't have technical issues. Greetings, Kayla. Abushishe Ashe. Greetings, love. Alafia. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Neophyte greetings and salutations. All is a blessing. Come on, where are my God children? Where are my initiates? Come on in, come on in. Greetings and salutations. Ashe, Asheo. Chef Bougie, welcome, beloved. Welcome, welcome. Greetings, Oloye, Ifawole. Welcome, beloved. Welcome. Thank you so much. Still looking for my other co-hosts. I believe he has a lot to contribute to this topic. We're going to talk about IJ. IJ. And what is IJ? And that might open a conversation about witches. And we might need to have a conversation about witches today. So come on in. Greetings, greetings. S. Marie, welcome, beloved. Thank you so much for your participation. The Goddess of Five, welcome. Thank you for your blessed return. Welcome, Blog Talk Radio. Thank you so much, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger, Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you so much for your listenership. We invite your participation as well. Greetings, Ray, Dozier. Welcome, beloved. Greetings and salutations to you and yours. Come on in. What is IJ? What is the nature of IJ, Baba? Greetings, greetings. Come on in. Welcome, Latoya Golden. Peace and blessings to you as well, beloved. Thank you for being with us. We're truly honored and grateful when the gods and the goddesses come through. Greetings, greetings, divine, all blessed, peace and love, joy and prosperity. You are now sitting live again with the Divine Prince, Pan-African spiritualist, practitioner, author, and advisor, Oloye, Hoodoo Obeah Bokur, sharing with you in all things spiritual, mystical, metaphysical, cosmic, evolutionary, revolutionary, healing, and holistic from a Pan-African Hoodoo world spiritualist perspective. Understanding that all is truly and indeed a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils, for it is all just an illusion. and a test and one of the greatest divine mysteries of this life cycle. This is indeed my constant prayer, my mantra, my affirmation and reverberation. It is my reiteration, and it is my ever living reality. All is a blessing. It's crucial to the very foundation of my inner standing, my teaching, my walk, my work, my demonstration along this divine, all blessed life path and journey. All is a blessing is how I, the divine prince, make sense out of all that we are challenged with here in our daily existence on this mother, father, earth. And it is my personal place of power and understanding. It is the place from where I begin and realize and crystallize all my endeavors, understanding that I and I alone create and co-create my divine destiny, and I alone create and co-create my divine, all blessed reality. And so it is. Ashe. Greetings, beloved, this Wednesday, May 5th. It's Cinco de Mayo somewhere this 2021, and I am emanating and vibrating with you and for you now live, virtually, verbally, cosmically, quantum universally from this working temple of the House of the Divine Prince, Thai Potions, Hoodoo Central, Hoodoo Central LLC, in this legendary, historic, beautiful, and most enchanted city in America, New Orleans, Louisiana. And of course, I have my very, very special co-host with me as well. First, I want to introduce my cousin, Oloye, Ifawole, Oladeji, from the Efuntade. I would like to introduce our beloved Iya Otan Ifatamiwa. Thank you so much, beloved, for joining us again. And of course, I would like to reintroduce our newest co-host, Oluwo Ifayinka Ajagunmale. Greetings and salutations to you as well. Greetings, greetings. This should be a great, great show on both sides of the water. I think we really need a deeper understanding of what Aj is. I think we cannot even discuss Aj without also covering to some degree Iyami and what witches are and are not, particularly within our culture. There's a great audience of people who listen to us but don't necessarily participate. And we really want to speak to that community today. And I'm talking about my community of psychics and readers and healers and black witches and the etc. I think they really need to hear the truth and authenticity about what Aj is, what Yami is, and what witches are and are not in our culture. Of course, I'm going to speak to Voodoo, and of course, my Baba Owls will speak to Ifa, and Atun will, of course, bring that Iya energy and always bring in the goddess and the mother to sort of bring balance to our discussion on today, our topic. Now, before I begin, I want to tell a brief story. And it might be interesting to you to hear my perspective. I want to start by talking about a quarrel between Fagbata and Sokpo. Fagbata and Sokpo. Now, we know in Haitian Voodoo and Louisiana Voodoo, we honor Sokpo and Bade as the two brothers of lightning and wind, sudden change and transformation. And so I want to share a fond story about Sagbata and Sagbo. And I think it plays right into our topic of Aj. What is the nature of Aj? This myth originated from the Fan people in Benin, Africa. Benin is a West African country bordered by Nigeria, Togo, Burkina Faso, and Niger. The official language of Benin is French, but indigenous languages like Fan and Yoruba are still spoken. In the 1600s, they were known for their skill in battle. Now, just a quick sidebar. The very first arrival of enslaved Africans that showed up in Louisiana, that were forced into slavery in Louisiana, came from this region, came from this specific region. And it is why we still acknowledge Sokbo and Bade in Louisiana voodoo practice, culture, and tradition. The neighbors of the Fon people are the Yoruba, and these two indigenous groups fought and came into contact often, so much so they developed similar cultural nuances. Both believed in the forces of nature and were controlled by individual gods. Of course, they both believed in a divine being, a creator God above all things. And then Sogbo, being the youngest son and ruler of the upper Calabash, the sky, the youngest son of Mawo, Lisa, the mother, father, creator God of the Fon. And Sagbata, Mawo's eldest son, ruler of the lower Calabash, or the earth. Now you're going to hear me also mention Watutu and sky beings, messengers from the gods. In this West African myth, Mawo's two sons, Sangbata and Sagbo, were supposed to rule together, but could not because of their clashing personalities. Their constant fights were such a problem that Sagbata opted to leave his home in the sky and live on the earth, but only if he could take his mother's wealth. Sagbata was guaranteed their mother's inheritance, as he was the eldest son. Mawo disagreed and stated that Sagbata and Sokbo must rule as a whole, fit together like a closed gourd called a calabash. Sagbata was to rule the earth, known as the lower calabash, and Sokbo was to rule the sky, known as the upper calabash. As Sogbo lived in the sky with his mother and other gods, he began to earn their trust, and the power went to his head. To mock his brother's foolish decisions, Sogbo stopped all rain on earth, causing a 3-year drought. Sagbata was unsure what to do when all of a sudden 2 sky beings came down with the seeds of prophecy. And these seeds were able to help answer important questions by studying the way they fell when tossed or when pounded. The seeds suggested that Sagbata summoned Sogbo's bird messenger, Watutu. Sagbata offered to let his younger brother be ruler of both worlds in order to save the people and the land from drought. Sogbo accepted the offer only after teaching his older brother of his ignorance. Suddenly, thunder and lightning ripped through the sky, and it rained and it rained. The offer was accepted. And for his duties, Watutu became a sacred bird. The brothers remained friends, and it rained every year, allowing the lands and the people to be fertile. The moral of this myth has a lot to do with how power should be divided among people instead of one person being in charge of everything. When one person has such power, a lot of things can go awry. Also, compromise when necessary, even if it means giving up those things that are most important to us to do so. I also want to acknowledge that I believe it's the rainy season where our beloved Oluwo is right now. And it's cutting up here in Louisiana. We've been dealing with thunderstorms and lightning and wind and rain for almost the last 24 hours. I just want to make a note of that. So I welcome all of my co-hosts. Greetings and salutations to each and every one of you. Our topic today is Aj and the nature of Aj. And again, I don't think we'll be able to cover that in its fullness without talking a little bit about Iyami and witches and the nature of witches within our various diverse cultural paths and traditions today. So if we can, we're going to start with Oluwo Ifayinka first. Greetings, beloved Aboru Aboye.
Ogbo Ato Asure Wowo Fun Ashe. Greetings to everybody today. I pray that Ifayinka will make our house sweet like honey, will make our life fruitful, and everything we touch will turn to gold. Firstly, I'm thanking Olodumare for this opportunity he has given to us for us to meet again, because he's the owner and the giver of life. What is Aje? Aje is a female Orisha. A female Orisha, and Aje is a wife of Orunmila, according to the history of Ifa. Aje is an Orisha that stands for prosperity and wealth. Prosperity and wealth. She's a clean goddess. Aje is a clean goddess, and Aje eats eggs, banana, honey, and so on and so forth. You know, the power Aje has is very great, because it is known worldwide that without Aje, you cannot do anything. If you don't have money in your pocket, how can you put food on your table? If you don't have money in your pocket, how can you buy clothes? How can you have a family? How can you do things that are significant? And this has made us know that woman in our society, the woman in our society has a great value, because Aje is a woman and she's in a woman life, and being in his life is one of the things that make him a great priest. So Aje, a woman, it shows us that women in our society are one of the greatest value that has to be taken care of. We have to appreciate them, we have to show them love, we have to take care of them. You know, we have to carry them with great value and great expectation. Aje is an Orisha that doesn't take dirtiness. As a spiritualist, as a traditionalist, we have to be always clean. We have to keep a clean space. We have to live a clean life, not about physically, but spiritually. You have to have a clean heart towards your other brother. You have to have a clean hand. You don't do bad things in secret and expect that the Orisha is going to be in support of you. If no one seeing you doing bad, the Orisha definitely see you doing bad. The Orisha are not in support of bad. So it shows us that being an Orisha practitioner, we have to be clean both in our heart, that is spiritually and physically. And also, Aje as an Orisha, it has taught us that gentility should be among priests. You cannot be a priest and behave like a tout. You cannot be a priest and do bad things. You cannot be a prince and do certain things because it doesn't go well with it. I'll be supporting my saying with a Ifa verse that talks about Aje. Oníṣẹ́ ẹgbọ́ bí fọ́hùn gbàbí tí ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Òjò ló pàlàpà ló sọ ọ́ dohun àmúgùn fewúrẹ́ adé fún ajé ajé tí lọ lè lálẹ́ nílé fún ẹbọ wọn ní ọmọ ọmú ṣe. You see, back in the days when Aje was alive, she was a human being like us. And she was making consultation. She wants to leave her house and go in search of an husband. And then she went to consult. And when she consulted, the priest tell her to leave the house and travel to a town called Ilefun. That when she get there, she will meet her husband and she will be appreciated as a big priestess. Then she makes sacrifice and leave her house. When she left the house, when she gets to Ilefun town, they told her the first person that she will see is going to be her husband. When she gets to that town, she meets Orunmila first. And upon sighting Orunmila, she was like, oh, this person, Orunmila was not rich then. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have all the good things to marry a wife. You see, this story is even teaching us that if you have wealth, if you have prosperity, you should not use it to oppress others. You should use it in uplifting others. You should use it in changing life. You are not rich with the amount you have in your pocket, but with the life you have touched. Many people think being rich is having a lot of money, but you might have enough money and not use it well. And a person with just small money might be using it well more than you. When Ajay got to that town and she saw Onumila, she was like, oh, he's a farmer and he's a priest that doesn't have money. But she didn't mind. She said, oh, Onumila, you have to take me to your house now. I consulted Ifa said the first person I will see is going to be my husband. And Onumila took her to the house and they started living happily ever after. Since Ajay come into Ongumila's life, Ongumila started doing well. And they were both dancing and rejoicing, praising Ifa. Ó níṣẹ́ gbọ́ bí ọ̀hún là ṣe gbárẹ̀ tí fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ sí òjò ló pàlàpà ló dán àmúgùn fẹ́rẹ́. Adé á fún ajé tí lọ lè lálẹ́ ńlè fún ẹbọ wọn ní ọmọ ọmú ṣe. Ṣajé ló lálẹ́ ńlè fún ìlè fún mọ̀mọ́ nílé ajé ló lálẹ́ ńlè fún. Ajé wà lálẹ́ sọ́dọ̀ àwa, ọ̀dọ̀ àwa mọ̀mọ́ nílé ajé wà lálẹ́ sọ́dọ̀ àwa. It means Ajé come to my house. My house is available for prosperity. Ajé come to all our house. Our house is available for prosperity. Ashe.
Shewa.
Iya, beloved, greetings and salutations. Do you have something to share for us today, a blessing, and then share your knowledge and awareness of what Ajay is?
Everyone. Thank you again, Chief Divine Prince. It's a pleasure to be here, and I want to firstly acknowledge my Oluwo IleIseseOladeji, Prince Baba Adebayo Olatona of Oshogbo, where I initiated Voodoo Royal Compound. Ajay, what Oluwo Ifayinka said, I have to agree with first and foremost, because my knowledge of Ajay is basically it's small. I understand who she is and her role, and that she brings prosperity and balance. I am not fully aware of all of the workings of it. I am currently in study of that now. So I can say that everything that Oluwo has said has been in alignment with what I have been taught thus far. So I am looking forward to, as always, being a student and learning some today. So I look forward to this discussion further as well.
Thank you, beloved. We certainly appreciate your participation and your consistency with us. We know you got a lot on your plate as well, so we appreciate when you're here. Thank you so much. Yes. And now my cousin Oloye Ifawole.
To everybody, I hope everybody's having a blessed day, and I'm grateful to see everybody here, have everybody here. If we're talking about Ajay in terms of the one of finances and blessing, financial blessing, then in our lineage, in my lineage encompasses Ajay as the daughter to Yeye Olokun. And it is said that Ajay, from that perspective, from the goddess of the financial blessings, that particular aspect of Ajay is, again, daughter to Olokun. And in some verses, it says that we should also be going to Ajay before we go to Baba Oromila and Ifa for daily worship. So when we're dealing with the Orisha of Ajay and financial blessings, that Orisha manifests in a variety of different facets, a variety of different ways. Yes, it deals with finances. As Oluwo was talking about, it's how we deal with our finances. And as such, it's also how we deal with opportunities to ascertain finances. So we can go to Ajay and we can be talking and asking Ajay about blessings of finances, but we also have to have doors and corridors for it to manifest. So what are you willing to do to bring the Aje? Do you have business? If you have a business, what are the sacrifices that you're willing to make in your business to bring the Aje to you? Do you have a job where you're hoping for promotion, for a raise, and all of that? What position are you in that you are trying to manifest that? So Aje is not just about actually bringing, it's about the development of opportunity in order to bring the financial blessings to you. Now, on the other end, if you're talking about Aje as the proponent to the Iyami, that's a little different, right? Because there's two ways of saying Aje. There's the Aje that deals with finances, and there's the Aje that deals primarily as the divine mothers, Iyami Asoronga, right? And in that, we have to be very, very mindful and careful about speaking of that if we're not spiritually in alignment to speak about it. So I have to be very careful in speaking about Iyami Asoronga. I don't have the spiritual authority to be speaking very deeply about that. But we do know them as the divine mothers. We do know that as when we complete our rituals many times, we must give something to the Iyami. We do know the Iyami, we do not want to be on the bad side of Iyami because they can cause havoc and trials and tribulations. We do know as men, we have to deal with our relationship with females in a very appropriate way. We do not want the wrath of Iyami because we're not treating the females, the divine feminine, in an appropriate way. We do know if we want to go back and we want to talk about that, and as an example, we can give the example of Oshun. And I believe either I've given it or Oluwo has given it. When Oshun is talking about the story of when the Oromile had come down to earth. And when they came down to earth, it was primarily men, and you had Yeye Oshun. And when they came down to earth, they were not treating Yeye Oshun as equal to them and not treating her in an appropriate sense, giving honor to the divine feminine. And so when things were not manifesting, they were not nurturing, they were not getting blessed, they would be doing all of this work to the development of civilization, but it wasn't manifesting. They finally figured, let me go back up to Olodumare, speak to Olodumare, find out why these things are not manifesting. So they went up to back up to Olorun. And when they got to Olorun, they spoke and they were in front of Olodumare. Olodumare asked them a simple question. That simple question was, where is Oshun? I don't know. She's down there cooking, cleaning, whatever she's doing. I don't know. Well, that's your problem. You did not give honor to the divine feminine. You are not giving honor to the opposite polarity of what you're trying to manifest. Therefore, they had to go down, or they called Oshun up, and they had to go and speak this in front of Oshun. And Oshun gave them two things. Oshun said, listen, I accept your apology, but me having child in me, if this child is female, y'all have hell to pay. If this child comes out as male, then things will be okay. They'll turn around and there'll be peace. So Obatala, in his magic, was able to go and look inside and saw that it was female and then changed the orientation to male. Thus, when she birthed the child, then she birthed it as male, and there was a semblance of peace in society. So when we look at that example, as Oshun is one of is like a fourth runner to the development of Iyami, then we know that we have to be mindful in how we treat the divine feminine, and that we honor and respect the divine feminine as the polarity to the masculine energy. When we look at our Odu, we look at the first Odu was masculine, that was Ogbe. The second Odu was feminine, that was Oyeku. And from the first and second Odus, you birthed the other Odus. So that is saying that there has to be a perfect balance in order to birth things in manifestation. So we have to look at Iyami, the divine mothers, as one that we have to give a significant amount of honor, respect to, in order to facilitate the manifestation of what it is that we desire here in this world. I hope that helps to begin to make sense of this. And again, please understand, as who I am, I have to be careful in some of the topics. And I personally might not be able to speak too much into stuff, but Oluwo, being that he's from there, he's going to be able to speak a little bit more about this topic without having too much of a chat. You know, he might not have the parameters that I do. In our different lineages, we all have parameters, and we are all taught in a very different way according to who is teaching us. And I have to give honor to my Oluwo, Oba Ifakbeme Feshev Futsola, the founder of the Ala Orisha temple. And so we have to be mindful just to be in alignment, you know, when we're speaking about certain things. I have to. So that's a little bit about Iyami and how we can look at Oshun, and we can look at the story of Oshun as an understanding of how we have to honor and respect the divine feminine and divine masculine, and bring that intertwine that, so that we can manifest all that we need.
Ashe.
Ashe. And I'm certainly in agreement with you, cousin, that the Oluwo could speak deeper in some of these areas that I really want to go into today. However, to my audience, he's lost his data. So he's trying to, I guess, regain some data and rejoin the show. To our U.S. audience, with all this unlimited internet and basic packages, they don't really have that in Nigeria. So they have to buy minutes, they have to buy data. So hopefully he'll return rather quickly. I do have him up in a chat box, and he hasn't asked for help. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening right now. But I absolutely want to talk about the nature of Ajay, and to be sure that we aren't confusing Ajay, the origin of wealth, with Iyami Ajay.
Right.
I wanted him to speak to what Iyami really is. Is Iyami only limited to women? Can men possess Iyami? And then again, how that plays out in how we address from our Western sense what the Iyami are, and how to operate within Ajay. I found some really interesting stuff just doing research on this topic. Some of it was really powerful information, and then some of it was really offensive. I found a site that is clearly playing to the idea that the Western or American audience is sort of obsessed with witches and being witches. And so they've established a site, and of course I won't say who or what or where it is, but they've established a site with a list of questions to determine if you are a witch. And in their translation, that then immediately translates into Iyami. And I was taught differently than that. I was taught completely differently than that about the nature of witches in African culture, and particularly in Yoruba and Fan culture, but also how that then plays out in terms of how we apply services. So some of the questions: is your mom or dad a witch? Did your mom go in search of a shrine? Did your mom or dad go to shrine in search of a baby before you were born? All these things are supposed to equate to you being a witch. Are you hot-tempered? Do you seek revenge? Do you know the personality of a person merely by looking at them? Do you have body signs before something good or bad happens? Do you find it difficult for people to understand you? Do you always like to get what you want by all costs? And so it's a long list, and I'm not going to go through the whole 36 questions that this person has up on this site. But these questions are supposed to help you determine if you are a witch or not. And I'm greatly offended by it. I know it's playing again in the sort of pop cultural interest in witches and being Black witches, but also some of these questions are really pulling on people who really need answers. Do you lack true love? Do people hate you for no reason? Do people have jealousy and envy for you? And so it plays on people's shadow work. It plays on that segment of our community that is despondent, that is depressed, that is looking for an out, that is looking somehow to control the circumstances of their relationships or their partnership with the father of the child, or their relationships with other people, and particularly other women. So it's important to me to continue to sort of dispel this idea that somehow witches and witchcraft goes hand in hand with Ifa and Fa and Voodoo practice, and offer a clear, authentic response to what Iyami really is, what Iyami Ajay really is, and how that manifests at all in our world and in our practice. Oluwo is still not with us.
It's okay. I mean, from some of the questions that you asked, one of the questions that you asked was about males and that, and there's from the female side, yes, Iyami. From the male side, we call that Osho. Osho. And in some will say that Osho is not as powerful as the female side of Iyami, but there is a male and female side to that type of energy. The other part to that is there are certain people that at certain levels will have some things that have to be done to them when they get to higher levels that receive Iyami even closer. And so it is not just kept in terms of that energy on the female side. There is energy like that on the male side as well. Then the other part to it, I forgot what the second thing that you had asked. You said something about is it just on the female side? And what was the second piece to that?
Say that again, because I was typing at the same time.
You had talked about first, like, is it just on the female or whatever? There was a second part to that too.
Yes. Does Oluwo is back, so I'm gonna re-ask my questions.
Okay.
Oluwo here in America, in particular, there's a bit of a pop cultural obsession with being witches and being Black witches in particular, and this community somehow believes that goes hand in hand with Ifa Orisha, that goes hand in hand with Voodoo. And so I want you to explain to the best of your ability what Iyami is, what Iyami Ajay is, and how witches and witchcraft are really interpreted within the culture in the motherland.
You see, the media has done a lot of damages, and it has made many people withdraw from the ability of working hand in hand with the Iyami. Every person or a lot of people thinks Iyami are bad people. Everybody always think Iyami are the bad people. They are the one who uses bad witchcraft to work against people or to damage and spoil people's life, which is not like that. Iyami Osoronga is the one who has given every, being it voodoo, being it a priest, being it anyone, Iyami is the one who has given us the special ability we are using. As Babalawo we always say Iyami Osoronga ló dá wa lóṣù tá fi ń ṣàwo, which means Iyami Osoronga are the one who give us the permission to go ahead to be a priest. But the media has portrayed it to us that they are the bad people, that they are the one who do bad, they are the one who kill people. But it's a lie. If you are going to be a top priest, Iyami has to like you. You have to have this special relationship with them for them to be, anything you lose, for them to lose it for you. Anything you bind, for them to bind it for you. Iyami are the one who has the special power of making Ifa medication work for you. When you do a voodoo or a Ifa medication of prosperity, they are the one that is going to let it work. If you do something that don't work it to work out, it won't work out. Iyami, let me call them the master key to every aspect of tradition. Iyami is the master key to every aspect of tradition. If we want to do initiation, we give them salutation, we give them praise, we bring them to our midst spiritually. If we want to do consecration, we give them praise, we bring them to our midst spiritually. If we want to do anything, the Iyami has to be in approval of it. If Iyami is not in approval of the things a Babalawo or a voodoo maker is doing, it will not work out in his own way. These people are the master key to every aspect of tradition. Now, Iyami has this special power, and that is why Iyami is like the woman. Let's say this, let me give this example. There is no way a child can be born on earth without the power of the woman. Woman. WOMEN. There is no way a child can be born without them. That is how there is no way a traditionalist is going to work without the Iyami. You cannot say who is Iyami. You cannot say they don't have power. You cannot say they don't have their part. You cannot put them aside. It's not going to be possible ever. So we have to understand that these people are one of the people that is making everything we do as a traditionalist work out. Now, in Nigeria, the media has made it seem as if they are the bad people. They are the one who kill children. They are the one who eat people. They are the one who drink blood. And it is not like that. So we have to change the narrative. We have to make people understand that these people are one of the important role in tradition and culture. That's it.
We can't hear you.
My apologies. I was on mute. He's having trouble getting into the main chat. If it's possible for you to open another tab with my YouTube page in it, you could then go directly into the chat and respond. I believe that's how my other co-hosts are doing it. Is that how you're doing it, Otun?
No. I need to, because I can only see one. I can only do one side of the chat. So I went with the link I was given. I didn't go on the YouTube but
yeah, you have to. I guess because I've organized the show, the chat is right here in my face. But I think for you all, you have to either go through the YouTube. Cousin, how are you doing it?
Open up the YouTube, like open up another window, go to YouTube, press where the voice comes out, press that to go to 0, so that you can't hear, or else you're going to hear it double. And then you can type into the chat there.
uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay, wait. I think I'm going to mess that up.
No, just open up another window. You should be able to open up another window as well as this one. When you open up the other window to YouTube, you press where you hear the voice. You press that down to 0, lock out the speaking, the ability to speak, and then you can type in the chat. The chat will be there for you.
Do I just go to his page then?
Yeah, you got to go to his page, and then if you haven't joined the page, then you just subscribe to the page. And once you subscribe to the page, it opens up where you can type into the chat.
I put the link in the private chat if you are able to see the private chat.
Okay, go to the wait. I think
Or you can go back to this chat, click on the chat on the tab on the what Chief just did, what Divine just did, and click on that. And then once you click on it, it'll open up another window automatically for you. Oh, y'all are making me sound like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think you do.
I don't.
Yeah, so come back into the private chat, click on the link that he made. That opens up another window. When it opens up the other window, then click so that you don't hear 2 voices at one time. And then once you do that, then you can join his page.
Oh, I did it. Oh my God.
Good.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Make me sound like I know what I'm doing. It's scary.
And now he's buffering Oluwo. I don't know if y'all can see that or not.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, he's buffering. So let me see if I can communicate with him.
So just to share a little bit more about what he was saying. In our tradition, the Iyami are very, very important. For many of the rituals and many of the ceremonies, we go to Iyami first. Because without their approval, then we'll have struggles and challenges going through the ceremonies and rituals. Number 2, especially when you're going to different initiation phases, starting off at initiations, it is essential that we have a female energy, the divine feminine, to be actually sometimes walking people into the beginning of initiations. So it is extremely important that we are lining ourselves up appropriately with the divine feminine, with the Iyami, so that we always have the distinct approval of the Iyami to be able to move forward in working well and things going smooth. We don't want things rocky with Iyami.
Ashe.
So hopefully that breaks it down just a little bit, because I know for some, if you're not used to and are not knowledgeable about our tradition, then you might not understand all that Oluwo was talking about and the importance of working closely with Iyami, dealing with daily ritual, dealing with especially initiation, dealing with things in priesthood, and making things manifest the way that they should. So I'll give it back to Oluwo.
Yes, Oluwo. Please, we welcome you back. I'm glad you figured it out and got it together.
Well, we thank Olodumare for everything. So we have to change the narrative. We have to bring the people back into accepting that women in our society, they are basically important. They are very, very important. You see, let me share a little secret with the viewer. When we are performing initiation, when we perform a fire initiation, and after every ceremony, and you are going home, there is a stage where everybody has to be on their knees. Everybody present in the initiation place, be it a old person, be it a small child, we all have to be on our knees, and we pay salutation to the Yami. And when we are making this salutation, we are on our knees, and that is the only salutation we do on our knees. That is to show you how you have to be respectful of women, and how you have to take them very, very important, because they are very, very, very important.
It almost sounds as if you are not only sort of suggesting the importance of Iyami, but really the importance of the power of women within our traditions. And I say all the time that there's really no practicing or operating in these traditions in isolation. You must have a community. You must have the men. You must have the power of the women, and all those things that sort of encompass our community. The word witch, how is that received and accepted in your community today? And is it similar to what we're experiencing in America?
Yes, what I will say is, earlier, before, a lot of people have this fear in their heart. They are always scared. But we thank Olodumare, now the narrative is changing. Even now, here in Nigeria, when they call people a witch, they don't feel very bad about it anymore. And over there too, I see many goddesses, and they are registering their Instagram account, Facebook account with which shows that people are opening their eyes now. Their foresight is being opened, and they know what they are practicing. So we thank God that the narrative is changing, and we know by this time, as the years goes on, maybe 2 years, 3 years from now, the old people will have been able to conclude that these people are not bad, but they are good. And also that when we work hand in hand to them, we work hand in hand with them, the man, the woman, and the Orisha, the remaining Orisha, we use this to work with them, that it will bring more growth to us than downfall.
So the Iyami are witches.
Yes, Yami Osoromonga, they are the witches, and it doesn't mean witches are bad. Witches are just like those people that give a share to spell, to initiation, to concentration, and those people that give a share to ebo, sacrifices, and offering.
Oh, time beloved, are you okay? Because I can see your face. You're making all kind of faces right now. I can see you. Everything seems to be okay. Are you good? I guess not. She's not. She's having a little difficulty, beloved Oluwo, with the technology. And now your face is also frozen. We might be having a technical issue here. Now everything is good on my end, but I have, over 500 speed on my internet. So I often don't run into too many problems with buffering anymore on my end. Otan, you look fine to me. My cousin Oloye is back. He seems to be okay. Oluwo, now you're gone again. Your screen is blacked out. So it could be, Otan says it's still double. Even after you muted the YouTube page, it was still double for you?
You're on mute, Baba.
I'm on mute?
No.
No.
She was talking to me.
Baba Oloye.
Go to the do it. Go to the mute, and on the bottom of the where the video is playing, there's a place where you can mute so you don't hear double
On YouTube,
Yeah.
on YouTube. Mhm.
that's what I could not find, and everything was doubling. So I just cut YouTube off.
When,
That way
when
I
you
wouldn't miss too much of it. I couldn't find it, and it was driving me nuts.
okay, when you put the what do you call the arrow on the video, down on the bottom part of the video will pop up where you can press play, where you can speed it up, and then on the third piece is where you see the volume directly on that part, and then you click on that, and a line will go through at a 45-degree angle, and that line then will mute out the voice.
Okay, so I'm gonna try it again, but please continue. Do not mind me. I'll take my camera off because my face is not delivered. So what I feel, you see. So I will make sure that I try to adjust that so that I don't look like I'm in distress.
Yeah, I'm the same way, beloved, but I'm a performer. And so I've learned how to sort of suspend what I'm feeling and thinking from my face. So I get it.
I'm working on it.
You better start listening to Leandria and the Deliver Me song.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that another time because I'm not gonna get frustrated. I'm enjoying this conversation.
All is a blessing.
It's all right.
And I appreciate my Blog Talk Radio audience. You all are always so present and consistent. Just get over your fear to open that mic. Call me at 845-277-9143, 845-277-9143, and do press the number 1 on your telephone keypad, and I'll be more than happy to open your mic. I'm grateful for people listening from Niger and Ghana and Nigeria and Democratic Republic of Congo and Kenya and South Africa. Our Ethiopian audience tends to come and go, but I know there's a serious censorship of the internet and social media in Ethiopia. So I'm always grateful when they're on screen, but I'm not surprised when they're not. Yeah, we have a very consistent Egyptian and Morocco audience from
that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm grateful. I just would like to somehow encourage them to actively participate in the conversation.
May I say something, Father?
Yes, beloved.
I will say, firstly, I do acknowledge everyone in the chat that did greet me, and I send my greetings and love back to you. I am still trying to figure out how to connect everything, so please forgive that. Also, I wanted to speak to, in the dealings and in the discussion when we were speaking of the Iyami and Aje and the things and the explanation of it, I do want to at least give this word of caution. I know there are things that happen, life happens, and we want answers. We need answers. We may need assistance, but please, please, everyone, be mindful when you meet someone that's supposed to be a spiritualist, a priest, or whatever it is, because I will say this. Just as we were speaking the other day of everything in decency and order, there is a way and a manner in which each of the Orisha are to be contacted, approached, and to be requesting things of. If you are not trained, please, before you allow anyone access to you spiritually, any of your business, any of your things, do your research. If not, wait. It is not worth the karma that will come back from you allowing somebody that want to act like they have power to shimmy, shake, and dance in front of you and pull you into some mess that you have no idea how to get out of. Be mindful. And these little rituals, these little spiritual baths you get off the internet, you better stop it. You be mindful of what you're doing, and you know who you're allowing to access your spirit, your body, and the things that are personal to you. That is not a game, and it is not a joke. Even calling out some of their names, be mindful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some of these names are sacred, and therefore we have other names that we call them that we recognize them by. Many of you all know the ritual day today, but I'm very careful about calling out certain orishas, and particularly by the names that we are now adopting in America. I also want to speak to sort of a evolution and change that I believe happens with these Loa and Orisha and Voodoos in the Americas. They're now being asked to adapt to a different environment, to different requests, to different foreign cultures and traditions of people. And as Iya just said, they can be hypersensitive to what we do, what we say, how we act, and how we respond. Over the years, I've been, gravely concerned about our interest in witches, and particularly because many of our community that's claiming witches are not pulling their inner standing, their knowledge, their wisdom from the elders from West Africa. Much of what they're doing is pulling from Eurocentric concepts, Western American concepts, a little witchcraft and hoodoo and root work mixed up together. And then, as the Oluwo said, then they're posting, profiles in social media with witch in their name, with witch in their title. And I'm not open to what Otan just explained, to really learning the dynamics of how to operate and navigate with these powers. That has always been my concern with the pop cultural interest in witches, and sort of our unwillingness to sort of really learn our lineage, our heritage, our traditions, versus just accepting what's quick and easy. Oluwo keeps kind of coming in and out. I want to be sure that he heard some of the questions that I shared earlier from the website, and I really wanted to get his opinion on that. But his data seems to be going in and out, and so he's now not here with us. But those questions, again, feed right into what Otan, beloved, is saying. They know where our weaknesses, they know where we're hungry, they know where we're thirsty, they know where we really are desiring a connection with spirit, and show up in social media, and project themselves as being one match with this or that practice or tradition. And I can't tell you, and my cousin might agree, how many people come to me after having had that experience, and dealing with.
I told my cousin that this last weekend I was going to be going to what they call out here in Oklahoma Spirit Fair. And in that Spirit Fair, you have a variety of diverse people doing a whole bunch of different type of spiritual stuff, whether it's, reading, tarot readings, or whether it's energy healing, or whether it's this or that. And I was blessed this time that my daughter was with me, and my daughter's she's at another level for a young lady. And so her energy, she's feeling all this energy. And so she's like, that person, I smiled, they gave me this mean look and this and that. So she's like, people are feeling your energy throughout, even with you just being in this area. So, we have to be mindful of the strength that we carry. We have to be mindful of the energy that's within us and how it manifests. But we also have to be mindful that people are always trying to drain our energy, and people are always trying to do things when they're not in alignment spiritually, to be trying to offset you or to try to bring challenges and negativity to you. And so you have to be very mindful who you're dealing with. And when we're talking about witches and all that, we have good and we have bad. Unfortunately, in this country, the connotation of witches is always a negative connotation. And so they're always looking at when somebody, especially in this country, when you speak and you say, Iyami, automatically in their mind, they're speaking of a negative influence rather than a positive. And I do agree with Oluwo that we have to change the narrative of how we view the Orisha, how we view Iyami, how we view even Orumila, Ifa, how we view it, and be able to view it from a very wide standpoint. We have to look at, yes, in this country, we're about, what are we, about 400, 500 years old now? That in regard to the enslavement beginning 1700s. So the Orisha then brought forth over here from our forefathers, the original ones who were enslaved and who brought these traditions over and brought this wisdom, brought this knowledge over, and brought this spiritual connection over. You know, the Orisha has now kind of had to transcend in some of the different ways that we have to work with the Orisha here in comparison to there. Same thing Cuba, same thing Puerto Rico, same thing in Brazil and all the other areas. There's little nuances in every areas that make how we work with Orisha to be unique. So maybe here in America, how we work with Iyami will be slightly different than what it has to be, than what it is in Africa. Mm-hmm. And so we have to look at how we as African Americans, maybe Spanish American, Latin Americans, different cultures, how we have to work with the Orisha here in this country in comparison to how it's done there. We can't do everything exactly like it's done there. And while I say all the time, we have to find an African American approach, don't take away the fact that the traditional aspects, the core aspects are meant to be changed. They're not meant to be changed. They're meant to be adhered to. But we also have to understand that there are nuances here in America. There is things or even herbs or plants or whatever that we don't specifically have here. Maybe we can order it, maybe we can't order it all the time. So we have to then find what is the corresponding ewe, corresponding, way of working with this Orisha here with what we have going on. We have things going on in our culture that's just not done the same way out there. So we have to work with the Orisha and personalize it for ourselves here. Would you say that language, culture, and ecology be the biggest nuances? Well, language, now, you hear Oluwo. That is his first language. So you also have to understand that Babalaos growing up, from the time that they're able to walk, are sitting next to their fathers, uncles, relatives, people that they are sent to by their family in order to begin learning all aspects of the tradition. So when we look at somebody who's 25 years old, in actuality, for here in America, it would be the correspondence of somebody that's older in the tradition because they were brought up and raised and started directly in that. Just like most of us, we were raised Christian or Muslim or from a different spiritual perspective. So therefore, we have to now grow out of that perspective and totally into the perspective of Ifa, into the knowledge and the wisdom of Ifa. For some of us, we haven't gotten there to a older age. And by that, then we have to go through, now we got to start all over because we got to learn some of the language. And the language sometimes can be difficult. We have to learn the cadences. We have to learn the way of their culture. Yes, the ecology. We got to learn the plants, right? We got to learn some of the Babalaos are very proficient at knowing the plants, because then you got to make the medicines, you make the soaps, you make the omieros, you make the different things that we utilize in order to be able to fulfill some of the information in the Odu, the way to make the akoshe. So the culture, the language, the ecology, yes, they all play a different role in our growing, in our developing in the tradition. And the view. Our view here in America is different a lot of times than the view of those of our brothers and sisters in Africa. We have to learn, if we want the information from them, we then have to now try our best to learn their view, or else we might not know the appropriate questions to ask, how to ask the appropriate questions, and some of the things that we do here in America might offend them over in Nigeria, Ghana, Benin, or anywhere else. So we have got to now begin the process of understanding their culture if we want to learn the aspects of their culture and traditions and spirituality. So, hopefully that answers the brother's question about how to bring those together. Because even how we view Iami, even how we view what they deem as witches, even certain people might not even know that there's a difference of Aje, which is Iami, and Aje, which is the financial, the goddess of finances, of riches and stuff. And so now one might be all confused because they didn't know that there is a difference. But we got to look into the smaller. We got to look into all the aspects, and even in the language, when you're writing out the words, there's certain
accent mark.
Yeah, accent marks in different places, and that accent mark makes the difference in just, of course, the definition of the word or which Orisha you might be talking about. You might say Ogun as Ogun, but then you might say Oogun for a different meaning. So you got to look at all of those aspects. So that's why one of the reasons why it does take a long, patient, dedicated time to grow in the tradition appropriately, so that your view is not skewed from your Western perspective and experience, and it grows into more of the Eastern, if you want to really understand or overstand what it is that you're doing in the tradition.
Yes. And I want to speak also to the language aspect. Both Anthony and the Goddess Initiative brought that up. And that's why I sort of preach all the time that we must make better use of our technology, our devices, our internet, and build relationships with these communities of practice and tradition that we seek to be a part of. Without my cousin and many others who live in West Africa, a lot of this would be difficult for me to grasp, for me to understand. But having someone that you can call, contact, reach out to, who's in the tradition, practicing the tradition, speaking the language, only helps to further, motivate us, but also makes it a little bit easier to memorize, to learn the cadence. And that's probably would be said with any language, learning any foreign language. If you're not conversational, if you're not around people who are using the language conversationally, then it makes it that much more difficult to learn it from just the book or a document or hearing it and seeing it, even on the internet. I played a Nollywood movie before the show started today about Shango. And I look at a lot of Nollywood, Gollywood movies, Igbo movies, Yoruba movies, um, not just for, of course, the entertainment value, but to hear the language being used, to see the symbolism that are often associated with some of the languages. Sometimes they don't call things out right, and they reference it, through little limericks and little sayings, and it's over time that you sort of gain an awareness of what's being said, what's being projected, through regular usage, through regular demonstration, through seeing it and hearing it often. So reach out to my cousin, reach out to Otun, reach out to our beloved Oluwo, reach out to other practitioners of the tradition in West Africa, and do not be afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions.
Mhm. Absolutely, and be able to be open-minded and keep your heart open to learning, because you can get into a place and think that you have more than what you have, and then when you get to a place, it's kind of like things begin to shut down for you, because it's almost like you've become arrogant, that you cannot learn anymore. In this tradition, because we're coming to it in older ages, there'll never be a time that we will stop our learning, and there'll never be a time that there's not more to learn. We're blessed now that we have people like Oluwo that come onto the show, and that many of our elders in the tradition have sacrificed to go back and forth many, many, many times. I've often said that my Oluwo alone has gone back almost 30 times, and each time that he's gone back, he stayed out there for at least for months at a time. And so his knowledge of the tradition is like they recognize him as one of them, because he's gone back so many times and has taken the time and effort to study, to learn, to grow, to expand, to evolve, and now to go undergoing the traditional rituals. Not many Americans, and none that I know of before him, have gone through the absolute traditional rituals for Obaship. Traditional rituals, not just something recognized, but the traditional rituals for Obaship. So there is a legitimate Oba here in America. So that we're growing here in America with more and more people going back and forth to grow, to learn, to expand their learning, and their teaching, and be able to now share this tradition in a expanded way here in America. So we have to change our view. We now, between the two continents, are able now to keep things moving forward. And those that truly want to learn, grow, and advance have the opportunity. Is the tradition stagnant?
Anthony X asks, is the tradition stagnant? And if not, how would you guys say it has evolved and what it looks like today? And before I speak to that, I kind of want to add to that. I want the both of you, Otan and Oloye, to kind of speak to some of the challenges to just going. Some people are really concerned about passport, really concerned about how much it costs, really concerned about what their safety and security, might be once they get. I've personally been invited by so many practitioners in the tradition. I can sort of pick and choose a house if I like, when I am able to go and stay with the family, as opposed to going and doing the tourist thing or staying in a hotel. And that gives me a sense of security, building relationships with families and individuals in Nigeria, even before I go. My hope was to go in January, but of course we know that the pandemic was still raging. So I'm aiming for next January when I make my trip. And I want to visit not just Osogbo, but I want to visit Benin as well, and Honan II while I'm there. So I would like the both of you to kind of speak to maybe your ease or challenges that you had to experience in making that trip. And of course, my cousin, you and I both know owls who travel at least 3 or 4 times a year back and forth. Our Ifasakin, may he rest in Orun, traveled at least 4 or 5 times a year. And he was a Babalawo many of you saw in the ceremony that I had for Obatala here at the house about 3 years ago. Unfortunately, he has subsequently passed from complications of diabetes. So we've got to take care of our health.
Yes.
You know, especially our elders. We've got to take care of our health so that we are in a position to teach, to share, and in some cases accompany those of us who are new to the motherland to be a part of these traditions.
Otun, you want to go first?
I will. I don't mind. Divine Prince, I wanted to ask you about the Baba that had transitioned. Was he out of Georgia?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I knew him.
Yes, he came, stayed at my house. We were friends for
light skin Babalawo. He just, it was a couple of years ago that he transitioned. I knew him. Okay. I knew who you were speaking of. Okay.
We first met online. I've probably known him a decade before he actually came to New Orleans. So yeah, he and I were very close. I learned a great deal about Ifa from him. Of course, I couldn't sort of get him to sort of change his behavior in terms of being a diabetic. You know,
his eating. I know.
So, but we had a great time with him, and he was one of my examples of someone who traveled back and forth rather frequently, and do it with a lot of ease.
Baba Oloye, were you familiar with that, Baba?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't. But I give honor to his memory for doing the work and for blessing people to be uplifted in the tradition here.
Ashe, absolutely. I met him through my godmother, and now in IleIseseOladeji, Olori, Ifayinka Benike Oyebala Latona. He was powerful Babalawo, very good, much Iwa Rere.
Very humble.
I will say, yes. I will say I can speak to travel, especially my sisters. First and foremost, I had a few classes and meetings before traveling, because you must first and foremost understand you are going to a whole nother country. The rules, the laws that you are so comfortable with here mean absolutely poop over there. I will say that although you may be in certain areas that may look ravaged or hit hard, I mean, it's a third world country. Know that they are proud people. They work hard, and you're not going to just go over there disrespecting. They will show love. They will welcome you with open arms. And I can say that when my feet touch the ground in Lagos, it's hard to put into words the feeling. You have to experience it. But my sisters that's looking to travel over there, whether it's for tourism, initiations, any kind of spiritual work, first and foremost, go in groups. That's not travel for you to be undertaken alone. One, it's a long, lengthy travel. You're looking at about 22, 24 hours. Very long travel, very long flights. You want to make sure if you have any kind of medical conditions and anything that needs to be under control, you need to visit your doctor and get it sorted before you get there. There is no Aetna over there, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, does not cross the water. Make sure you go to your doctor, get whatever checkup you need to, advise them of the travel you're making so that you can be healthy and be aware, because it's a big change over there in temperatures, foods, everything. So make sure that you go in a group, that you stay together when traveling. Make sure that the location that you are going, that you actually know the people that you're going there to connect with, that you feel safe, that you've talked to someone and done some kind of research on them or that family to ensure you are entering into a situation that you will be comfortable. Make sure that you have contact information. It's a lot of different things that needs to happen. When I went, in addition to passport, you have to have a letter of sponsorship, meaning whoever the family is, basically, that's inviting you, they're in essence going to be responsible for you. So it's kind of a two-way street, meaning you go over there, act right, and they treat you right in turn. Yes. Oh,
That's Baba Ken, cousin.
yes.
Okay.
So it's a lot of different things. It's nothing you should just jump and do overnight. It takes planning. It takes discussion. You need to learn about customs, greetings, certain things that are considered disrespectful, because it's a whole new way. You cannot assume. You cannot assume. As far as, I will say, as far as travel, like plane ticket costs, I didn't find it too daunting, because I will say this, you see people, we go for what we really want. How many people have been at work and seen people call out from work because they wanted to go to a concert or go to an event or participate in something, and they was willing to miss that money for it? Okay, how bad do you want it? Now, if you can save up over the course of a couple of years and hop on a cruise, you can definitely get to Oshogbo. You can definitely get the Legos. My round trip ticket, $780. $780. So it's possible. When you want something, we all know we're willing to move heaven and earth to get it if it's something that's of importance. Your spirituality should always be of importance. Your family's safety, the breaking of generational curses, your bloodline should always be of importance. Just make sure you're doing it safely. And of course, everything in decency and in order. So talk, plan, go to your doctor, and make sure that you're doing things in accordance to your trip, and make sure you know who you're going to see. And that's my advice on that.
Ashe.
So I'll just cover a couple of other aspects. One, you have to understand, in the beginning, yes, you have to have your passport, you have to get the visa. Don't wait till the last second. Even when you do the expedited service, you still want to make sure that there's enough time to that there's if there's any challenges, that it won't affect your travel. So make sure that you take care of your passport and visa as early as you can so that you can get that squared away. Understand that the seasons are different here than there. So like in February, it was summertime out there while it was wintertime here. Sometimes that affects the cost of your ticket. So if you know the seasons, you might be able to get a cheaper ticket in certain seasons out there. It's still for us like summertime out there, but for them, it's their winter, right? Next, when you travel, my cousin said that you make sure that you have the letter from the people who are going to sponsor you, because you have to show that, and you have to send a copy of that when you are getting all of your documentation ready for travel. So just know that you have to have all those things in order. When you go over there, while you're flying, before you get off, you have to fill out these papers, and you have to make sure that they are exactly accurate. If they are not accurate, you're going to have a problem when you get off, when they start verifying the documents together. You have to have that without any mistakes when you leave this country, right?
What are some of the questions?
Oh, it's just like making sure like your name is the same as that, the address, where you're going, the name of the people that are responsible for the contact, their address and all of that. All of that has to be written exactly as it is on the other documents. So you got to take your time and be very exact with that.
Thorough, yeah.
Yes. When you get off the plane, you'll have to go through going before you can leave to go get your luggage. You have to go to a desk where they're checking all of that in the airport. The airport out at Murtala Muhammad is a little bit different than here. It's a smaller airport in regard to it's older, so the things are not always working. So you have to go and then search for your luggage. So you search for the luggage, you get with your group, and then now it's time to make your way out of the airport. Sometimes making your way out of the airport could be a little challenging.
Yes. I heard.
Be prepared. Be prepared to have to dash. And those that don't know what dashing is, do not keep all of your money together. Don't do that.
Don't pull it out.
Right. Don't pull it out, right? And make sure that you have a pocket that is just for the dashing. They don't need to see how much you got. You do have to record how much you're supposed to record how much you're bringing in. Be wise with that. But have a pocket that's distinctly if you got to dash somebody to get out the airport. And then you got to go through a final check. They'll open up your suitcase and all that before sometimes they let you out to go and meet the people that are meeting you.
So when you say dash, what does that mean? I've never heard that word before.
Oh, cousin.
If I never use that word.
It's like,
go ahead, cousin.
Okay, so everyone's seen the movies, New York City, Times Square, Rush Hour. And you step outside and there's 500 billion cabs lined up and everybody wants you to be their customer. Only in Lagos, they don't just stay at the car. So you'll be walking along with your luggage and it's, hello, Baba, where you going? I take you. Oh, he's already grabbing your stuff. I take you. Let's go. No, I take you. And then they arguing. And while they arguing, the other dude is coming behind you and he walking away, pushing your luggage to his car because he took advantage of that argument. And then on the way there's a guy stopping him going, you shouldn't do that. And now he wants to get your luggage because he stopped him from taking the other dude from all of that. And meanwhile, you don't know what's happening because everybody yelling in Yoruba and half of it English. And then the other time, you need to be making sure your hand is on your wallet. And it's wonderful. And that's how our people is. Everybody's trying to make some money. Everybody wants to help you. It's not nothing. Ladies, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, which is why I say to go in groups. Make sure the person that's picking you up is there at the airport or that you have some form of secured transportation that is readily identifiable upon your arrival, because everyone is going to want to carry your bags and they will ask you nicely aggressively, let's put that word together, and that's what it will be, and everybody wants to help you with your bag. So it's a free for all, and that way they don't need to know how much money you have, because that's just a whole nother doorway, a whole nother list of things that you just don't want going on, because everybody need money and they gonna do whatever they got to do so you want to give them your money.
So
right.
that's
And some of it is like they're actually workers there.
Mhm.
And in order for you to get past them, you don't know who can actually stop you, who cannot stop you, who actually has the power to like be sending you back or whatever. Things are not the same. So some people, they're like, Baba, if you give me 20, you give me 50, you give me whatever, you can go through. You don't know. So listen, here's this, pray for me. You know, as time goes by, like I've seen Kabiese on last trips when we're going, he knows how to deal with it. He's been there 30 times. But for somebody who's only going 1, 2, or 3 times, you don't know how to deal with those guys, with those people. So prepare to give a few dollars in order for you to move through freely so that you can move yourself out and get out the airport, right? Then, you know, you get out the airport, you get through these people, you get out to the airport. My cousin told you about cabs. If you're actually going, go ahead.
Before they leave the airport, they got to change their money.
Yeah, but we got to be careful with that's good, but we got to be careful with that too, because you're going to have people who are going to be trying to exchange your money
on the street.
On the street, like once you get out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things that you can do is to, when you know that you're meeting certain group, like when if we're going out there and the people that are going to take you to the compound usually are going to be the ones who are going to exchange things so that you don't get caught out there not knowing the difference between Naira and American money. Mm-hmm. And then you wind up losing money instead of the amount of money you're supposed to get from Naira. So if you're going to go out there, let the people who you're going to be working with, if you trust them, then let them be the ones who are changing that over. Right?
Benny, our Oluwo took us. He's the one that did the talking, and he was standing right there. So that did happen. Yes.
Right. Then, so you get through that. You get through all of that. You meet your people. One of the things that's going to be very interesting to you is when you're walking out, you have to get used to the military. Because the military in the airport is walking around with the AKs and the different things. So I remember my first time looking at that, I was like, this martial arts stuff ain't gonna work against that, you know? So you have to be in the mind that as you're walking through, you got the military and their Nigerian police force and all that inside the airport. And it can be intimidating to you if you've never dealt with that before. Once you go out the airport, you have to get used to when you're driving that on the street, people are selling many, many things. They're selling water, they're selling fruit, they're selling this and selling that. And, you know, sometimes when you're leaving the airport, there's a lot of congestion. So, you know, the windows are down, the people that are driving, they know this area real well, so they're used to it. But if you're not used to it, I would advise you to make sure that all your stuff is just safe, just in case, but just get used to people are going to be coming by the window and asking if you want to buy this or buy that. Also get used to when you're driving that the military and the police can just stop you. And the driver has to stop. Then they got to deal with the dashing after that. Right? They'll stop you right in the midst of the highway as you're traveling.
So how much does how you look coming in play into you being a target? Would I be more of a target like this, or would I be less of a target? More, because they know you ain't from there. So when they look, they'll be like, foreigner. Money. Right? There it is. Because remember, you know, for some, the money is so different that if you got $10 from American money, it might be a good amount of money for Naira. So that you just paid for their dinner, for whatever. And I remember we told them,
we're going to take care of your dinner today. Here's $20 or $30 American money. Go buy dinner. Be blessed. Thank you. And we continue our path. We continue our journey.
The money, the money there, I was there I was there beginning of 2020. In Oshogbo, when I changed my money, I know $1 US was equivalent to 356 Naira. So $1 US is 356 of their dollars.
So you just paid for a good dinner for maybe a couple of days. You know, you don't. So you're taking. They know that the money that comes in is gonna be money that's really gonna bless them. So you can't really get mad at them too much. You know. So now you get there and you get the people picking you up. You're on the road. You know, you might get stopped a couple of times from military on the way to where you gotta go. When you get there, you have to remember that they are probably, if you're going to go to a compound, they're probably going to have dinner waiting for you. So now you have to get used to the taste in the food. If you've not eaten Nigerian food, then you might not be used to the red palm oil that they cook with and whatever else. And we know where the original barbecue came from because the barbecue, they're barbecuing just about everything. Because they don't have the kitchens and the refrigeration and all of that we have here. So whatever they do for Ebo is what we're doing for dinner. And then you'll see the community come and then they're feeding many people, right? So you get there and then you got to know that there's a time difference of at least 7-8 hours. I forgot what the time difference is. So now you have to make arrangements for yourself to be able to call home when you want to call home, so that you know you're calling them at an hour that people will pick up the money. I mean, pick up the phone call. Make sure that you have all the meds that you need, as my cousin said, because the hospitalization is not the same out there than it is here. You're lucky if you get to a place that's relatively close and that they have any modern ways of doing things at all.
And as I said, no. Medication safe. Now listen, I was told to keep your medication safe.
Absolutely.
Now, I understand, we got thieves in America, it's thieves everywhere. But that's the target item, I was told, American medications.
Right, because some of the medications that they give you from the morphine and all that, they only have limited supply. So it's not like us and having the pharmaceutical plants or whatever here, that we have just an ever abundant amount of pills being made. It's not the same.
Even something like Tylenol or Motrin or something like that over there is coveted because the over-the-counter medications and a lot of the stuff that they have over there that people buy is fake. So when we go over there and we have something as minute to that maybe to us like Ben Gay, over there, big deal, because a lot of the medications and the stuff they have circulating are fake. So that's
old. Some of that stuff is old, right? It's way out of dated, but that's what they got, and so that's what they try to use. People get injured. They're trying to do things from a way like they're praying it out or whatever, because they might not have all of the things that they need for surgery to take care of, of the injury. So we have to be careful and listen when a person says, don't step there, don't go there, wait for me before you step out of this vehicle. Because I'm telling you something, driving at night out there, they got these craters. It's not potholes, they're craters. And you would not be able to see at all just past your nose. But they are so aligned with it. They're zipping around stuff, and you have to have a significant trust in that driver. They're phenomenal. I know why we drive the way we drive out here. Because if we from that DNA, there's some amazing stuff when you go through it. Okay? So be mindful that there's an extremely different thing. Even in the driving, you got to get used to the way they drive out there. At first, you're going to be holding on to dear life, but you know, you got to get used to the driving. You got to get used to the amounts of people.
Mm-hmm.
In IleIfe, it is so crowded. You got to get used to it. You have to get used to it. In some places, you might not have like the working showers and all that stuff. You have to now get used to maybe having to utilize the restroom in an older fashioned way, and to take showers where you're getting water, getting water from the well and using like a colder amount of water, colder water.
Big water basin. Mm-hmm.
Yes, when you take your shot, when you take bath.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a true example of what to expect when you go over there. I don't want to hear anybody say Oloye never said this, that, or the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Food, go ahead.
No, so I was going to reiterate Anthony X's question. So is the tradition stagnant, or would you say it is evolving or has evolved, and what does it really look like today?
I don't believe it's stagnant. I believe that it's ever growing and ever evolving, just like anything else in life. Because when we do our things here, we have to evolve it for here. Cuba had to evolve it for there. Brazil had to evolve it for there. They had to do the things they had to do to exchange this for that without losing the essence of the tradition. So evolution says to me, I have to continue going forward and finding what's going to be able to be switched appropriately. Maybe look up the name African-wise to the American name, and then I can use this instead of that, and it's still going to have the purpose of what it is that's going to be needed, right? And then on top of that, it is all about the intent in what you're doing with this tradition. What is your intent? Is your intent to be, growing in the knowledge and the wisdom? So no, it's not stagnant, because we have too many opportunities to be growing with different people who have traveled back and forth, people now that are originally from there living here. And then even from us, there's a lot of us that are going out there to live now for a period of time. There was a white lady that moved out to Osogbo that was well known because of her art and stuff like that, and things that she did for Osogbo. So there's people that are leaving here to live out there for extended periods of time. So no, I don't believe that the tradition is stagnant. I think that it's ever evolving. I think that it's ever growing. And I think that when Oluwo was on, that it showed that too. Because any of us born here that may have gotten into the tradition a little bit later now have the opportunity to listen from somebody who was actually born into it, who has the knowledge from birth and is sharing willingly and openly with everybody. That is not something that is the norm. We have to take advantage of that, and then we can grow our own practice from hearing and learning from those willing to teach. So I just don't think it's stagnant.
Oluwo is back. He's he missed it, so he was really shocked when I said we were actually talking about the process of coming to Nigeria, from the airport to the compound.
That's right.
So share with us, Oluwo, how easy or difficult is it for African Americans to befriend a family or befriend a practitioner, an authentic practitioner, in West Africa, and then go and be a part of the culture and the tradition?
You people are, everybody, the best thing, or should I say the good thing about Nigerians and about Africa is that we embrace people a lot. And that is one of the reasons why when these people, colonizer, come to us, that is one of the reasons why they get in easily. We love people. We love embracing people. And when people come here, we treat them like they are our own. We treat them as if they are our own. We like visitors, we like people, we like everyone. In the first place, I want to tell you people, I'm very sorry today for not being much of the class. It was because of some things that was going on. I'm very, very sorry. Next class is not going to be like this. So we love you. We want you people to come down here. We want you to touch the soil of the motherland. That way you are going to feel like you are coming back home. Trust me, anytime you people come back to Nigeria or to any part of the African country, you are going to feel like you come back home. That's the way it's going to feel like. Because now we want people to come here. People are coming, people are investing, people are building houses. You see people having mansions, people investing, We love that. That is what we want to happen. We want you people to come back here because this is where you people all originated from. So we want you people to be here. We want you people to be part of everything. Part of everything. So
You're muted, Divine Prince.
Thank you kindly. We have about 9 minutes left in the show, and so we're going to wrap it up. I would like everyone to give out a closing statement, either about the topic or about traveling to Nigeria, and then we'll, look forward to coming here again on Friday at noon.
Well, I hope everybody had an opportunity to learn. I know the topic of Iyami Asoronga is a topic that for here in America, everybody desires to learn more of. So hopefully there'll be other episodes coming up that we'll all be able to learn more of the Iyami Asoronga and the virtues and the practices and the understanding of that aspect of our tradition. Also, you learn aspects of what it is necessary to travel to Nigeria. So I hope that you guys take that information accordingly and to be able to get these things done early. Oh, and as well, the shots that you have to have. Don't wait till the last second to get all of the shots that you need to travel. There's a cadre of shots that are necessary, that you're responsible for before you're able to travel. Because one of the things you have to show is the yellow card that shows all of the inoculations that were given to you specifically for the travel. So I don't want to leave anything out. I want you guys to have all of that information so that, and now with the COVID, I believe you have to even show proof of COVID before you go and after you get there. So make sure that you have all of those areas covered for yourself. Make sure that whoever you're going over there to see, whatever compound that you're going over there to visit, they've given you all the appropriate documentation. As well, the person who is going to be receiving you, they also have to send you they have to send a copy of their own passport. So just make sure that you have everything that you need to have before traveling out there. And if you can, travel out there with your Oluwo. Travel out there with your Oluwo. Don't travel out there alone. Okay? And so that I don't want to speak too much, but I hope that this information has helped you and blessed you and given you the opportunity to put these things in order before many of you begin to travel, and that you'll make your learning deeper in the tradition. So may Ifa bless you. I put there was a question about, do we all do readings? Yes, I do readings. Divine, he does readings. Oluwo, of course, does readings. Yeah, she is learning, she's growing, and will be doing readings in the near future. So I gave you my information to contact me about if you need a reading. And Divine, he has his information for himself and Oluwo as well. So contact any of us for reading, and any of us will be happy to give you a reading. You're on mute, Divine.
Thank you, Khan. Oloye and Otan, how long were you there for your initiation, and how did you get sponsorship?
I was there for at least 2-3 weeks. And the sponsorship came because of my Oluwo. When he made the arrangements without there, I went out to Ode Remo in the beginning. So when he made the arrangements with the Oluwo and Ode Remo, then he gave all of us the necessary arrangement, the necessary information in order for us to get the not just the passport, but get the visa and all that we needed. So it should be your Oluwo. If you're going out there with your Oluwo, that's helping you to have all the necessary information to then move forward and get your own stuff squared away for the travel.
Ashe. Otan?
I was there approximately 16 days, a little just over 2 weeks. That was arranged as well by my Oluwo, Prince Baba Adebayo Olathona. And he met us at the airport. He helped us change our money and basically provided the transportation there because that's where we were staying. As far as the time frame, they all participated in the initiations. As far as what was the last portion of the question?
How did you go about sponsorship? But I think
Okay, my Oluwo was my sponsor, and that's always the best way. I can't speak to tourism because when I went there, it wasn't for tourism. So that's the best. That's why I say, especially with women, make sure you go in groups, and it should be with your Oluwo or with his wife. Technically, our Oluwo met us there, but we traveled with our Oloye, and that is basically how we got there. So it was a large group of Obinrin. It was, I'm sorry, that's women, Yoruba, and we all went at the same time. And we all stayed at our Oluwo's compound. So I will say, make sure that it's with someone trusted. If it can be your Oluwo, absolutely, that's the way it should be done. And I can't describe it in words. It was wonderful. And if you like to travel, if you like to try different things, the food, ooh, listen, Akara, oh my goodness, I don't know how to act, but the food is incredible. The people are incredible. It's like Oluwo Ifayinka said, it's love, it's welcoming, and it's just wonderful. And I totally enjoy myself, especially with the women. And I love stepping off a plane, and it was awe-inspiring and just heart-touching to just look around, and all I saw was all different shades of people that looked like me, and that was all right.
Yes, indeed. Ashe. Oluwa Ifayinka, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
We're going to give you the final word. I would like you to talk a little bit about sponsorship, and then give us some closing message.
Yes, about the sponsorship, you have to have somebody who is willing to spend enough time with you, in as much as you are submissive enough by yourself to be here. You have to have somebody who is ready to spend enough time and who is ready to give you full attention too. Because if you are here, you don't know most of the things, that person must give you full attention, must protect you, must give you everything you want, and your tourism, if you want to come here for tourism, is going to provide for transportation. But also, I'll be telling anybody who wants to come over to have enough fun so that they won't have themselves messed up. Because when you have enough funds, you can go to anywhere you want with your funds without anybody telling you, I can't take you here because I don't have money. But when you have your own funds, you'll be like, oh, let's go. Yeah, I have money, I can provide it by myself. And the closing message I'll be giving is anything you try to do, you do it fully. You do it fully. You want to travel down here, you travel here fully. You want to join the culture, do it fully. If you want to be a man, be a man. If you want to be a woman, be a woman. If you want to go forward in life, go forward. If you want to go backward, go backward. Be yourself fully. It will help you be excellent in whatever you do.
Ashe. Those are great words. We certainly appreciate you being present with us and sharing. Of course, I appreciate Otan and my cousin Oloye, both of you taking the time out to be a part of this platform with me. I'm forever grateful. I'm forever grateful.
Thank you.
And now I'm looking forward to the trip where we're all on the same plane, going to the same place. Hopefully that'll be in our future in the next year or two. So I'm grateful. I want to remind everyone that all is truly and indeed a blessing. If you can just see beyond the veils. And I look forward to meeting you here again on Friday at high noon, U.S. Central Standard Time. I think that's 6 p.m. Lagos time.
Yes.
And indeed a blessing. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Odabo.
Ashe.
Odabo.
Odabo.